Okay, so the other day I told you that I would tell you a little bit more about this new therapy in my book that I came up with, my new book. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about my book. How about that? How about that? So, anyway, okay, first, and it's not that I'm being selfish, it's just, it's like, wow, okay. But anyway, uh, the history on the PTPT, okay, which is a therapy that I came up with. And this therapy, it's sort of like it's a little bit sort of a meditation thing, just a little bit, okay? But the way I came up with it is the history of it, okay? And as you know, my book is about getting over the love hump, 99 plus one ways. And the PTPT, the part about the PTPT is number 99, okay? It's number 99. And if you got the book, you'd know what PTPT stands for. So, should I show it to you? Now, the history of this therapy that I came up with, and I don't know, it's interesting, but anyway, when I was a little girl, right? I don't know how old I was. I was a little girl. But anyway, my mother had me, take the garbage out one day. And, we lived in, in a building and I'm from New York, okay? And so you could go down and out in this basement area where they kept the garbage. So I took the garbage out. So when I went to take the garbage out, there was this an organ that was sitting in there, in the basement where the garbage area. So I'm like, wow, because I always liked piano music. I loved classical music. My father always, played, he loved, he had, Tchaikovsky, he had, all different, plus I do the ballet stuff and, I do my dances to the music and things like that. So, that was something that I liked. And so when I saw that organ in the basement, I ran upstairs. And I'm like, I told my mother, hey, there's this organ. Can we please have it? Can we get the organ, Ma? And, eventually she finally said yes. And we went down to the basement and it was still there. And we brought it up to our house, to our apartment, which felt like a house because it was a nice big apartment. So anyway, from there, I always like to play around with the organ. Now, I don't know how to play the piano or an organ. I just liked playing around. I guess I sort of would imagine, that I was some Liberace or, some great piano player. And I don't care, whatever the notes are, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to make my own. And so that is what I did. And I'd always play. And so I was always attracted to the piano. But I never wanted to really learn how to play it, with the notes and all of that. I never wanted that. I did play the violin for a period of time when I was a little girl. But with the piano, it was always just, I just wanted to sit there, and I think in my mind I would pretend I'm Liberace or whoever, and I'd just play dun, 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 boom, 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 how you go through the keys. Okay, so that's what I would do. And so throughout my life, when I was near a piano, I always just wanted to play around with it. Now, I never knew why. And when I sustained a mild traumatic brain injury, there was a period of time, let's say my aunt, I had moved away from New York, okay, but I had an aunt, she lived there, and she lived in this apartment, and I guess in the apartment was a piano. And but when I would go visit her, I'd play the piano a little bit, not, hopefully, I didn't want to bother her too much, and then throughout time, I've had friends that had pianos, and I had one friend, he had a piano, and he would, sometimes he'd have friends over, and, I always wanted to sit at that piano. It was, I didn't know what it was, okay, but I always wanted to do that. And then sometimes there were times, let's say when he wasn't having a gathering, and I would ask him if he would let me come and play his piano for a little while. And he would, so I would. And he also had a collection of harmonicas. So he would play his harmonica, and so it was kind of cool. So anyway, so as I'm writing this book, right, what I did was, because I noticed, okay, that, like with my aunt, she let me have the piano, okay, the piano that was in her apartment. She let me have the piano, but of course I had to get it. And guess what? She lived like at the top floor in her apartment. So, didn't I get my cousins and I rented a U-Haul and I got that piano, okay? I got that piano, and I would just play around with it, and it was, it was just something that I really like to do. And then when I, sustained that post-traumatic stress disorder, that PTSD, I saw that I was really drawn to that piano, that I would go there like every day, sometimes, 2 and 3 times a day. And so what I did was, eventually I said, why? I started to ask myself, why am I so attracted to this piano? Because I have to say, it made me feel better. It did something for me. I felt like I could think better or something. I couldn't explain it. I didn't know why. And so I started asking myself questions. I said, wow, what is it about this? So then when I would sit at the piano, I sat in front of that piano with a purpose, to find out. Let's figure out this thing. I want to know why I love this thing so much. And so from there is where I came up with a therapy, okay? And the therapy is play the piano therapy, okay? And it's not about knowing how to play the piano, okay? It's not about how to play the piano, okay? And I'm not even sure now. I don't know how to play the piano. I mean, I know that there's notes. I guess there's C. I don't know if there's E, F, whatever those notes are, okay? I don't even know what they are, to tell you the truth. So, but I didn't know, so it's not about knowing how to play the piano, so that you can create the melody or whatever. That's not what it's about. And in fact, because I don't know how to play the piano, I'm not sure like how this therapy would go down with someone that does know how to play the piano. I don't know if they'd get the same thing out of it. I guess they would, I don't know. Okay, so from there, I started to ask myself questions. Well, what, why? And so then I started to pay attention to the feeling and how it made me feel, and I started paying attention to that. And so then, right, I figured it out. I recognized, and I recognized what it did, and the feeling, and sometimes I would go and I would close my eyes, just so that I could feel the what was going on, so that I could feel the vibration and the connection and all of those things. Okay, that's what I started to do. So then, once I recognized those feelings and what it was doing, I was able to do it with more purpose. Okay, and I would try different ways of how I approached it, when in dealing with the love hump. Okay, how certain thoughts and pictures in your mind and what it could do, and playing this piano. Okay, so that's what I did. But then what was even harder was to, figuring it out or putting it into words. I'm not sure which one was harder. Figuring it out and feeling it, and then putting it into words. I'm not sure which one was harder yet. I maybe I'll figure out which one was harder next week. I'm not sure. But that's what is so exciting, okay? And I believe that once, people understand, they'll find that this may very well be something, okay? This is something. This is big. I'm telling you, this therapy, this play the piano therapy is big, okay? And because I believe with all my heart that it can help people, that it will, okay, help people with their mental health. And in the book, I explain it. Now, from what I will explain too is that I believe that in order for the therapy to really be effective, you have to read the book first, okay? Because what this book is about, it helps us to recognize our feelings and our emotions, and it helps us to recognize ourselves, how we communicate with ourselves, okay? Because all the other stuff doesn't matter, but it's how we relate to ourselves, and it's not about being selfish, okay? Because a lot of times when we're going through a love hump, we forget us first, okay? The first person I forget about is me. when I'm going through a love hump, that is sort of something, the tendency, I guess, to do that. But with this book, it helps us to look at ourselves in a very special way. okay? Because we want to get over the love hump with the respect, the dignity, the grace, and the strength that we deserve, okay? And so there's a lot of ways, and there's secrets to doing that. So so I told you I'd tell you about my the new therapy that's in this book. And see, the thing is, with my book, certain books I wouldn't read. You know, I got books, you know, there's certain books I would not read. And, you know, I didn't do, well, let me research this or let me research that to see if what I'm saying is right. No, I didn't do any of that. Nope, I didn't do that. Because I didn't want what I was trying to relate. Okay, I didn't want it to be tainted with anybody else's thoughts or anybody else's feelings or expression. So certain things I would not read just because of that. Okay, I didn't want to, you know, think about what someone else said is about whatever the subject, and then for me to adopt that. I wanted this to be a book of authenticity. Okay, that this is from me. It's not from this and that and that and this. And so because of that, but let me tell you what I did. Now, okay, I think in my other video I told you how I had heard recently, maybe a month or two ago, something like that, that there was a study that they did, and it had to do with women that suffered from postpartum depression. Okay, and in that study, what they found is that singing helped women who were suffering from postpartum depression, that when they sang out loud, I think with their babies, that they came out of the postpartum depression sooner than the mothers suffering from postpartum depression that didn't sing. Okay, and like I told you, that's one of the ways I say talk about of getting over the love hump. I say sing. Okay, and that is number 25 in my book, right? Number 25, sing. Okay, and the thing about that, well, you know, I sort of laughed. I'm like, wow, look, because sing, that part of my book, number 25, was written. I had already talked about that how singing can help us to get over the love hump, and I explain how and different things like that in the book. But I wrote that like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. Okay, so look at that. So what was I saying? Okay, so the thing, okay. So this is what I did after it was written. And the way, the things that I explain about the play the piano therapy, okay, I started to look at, I was like, I wonder, you know, okay, I've come up with this thing, and, you know, I wonder if there's any other foundation or something to it somewhere. Okay, so, you know, I looked it up, and I still haven't gotten into it yet. I do want to sort of read more about this thing, even though there's nothing about play the piano therapy, but what there is there is some type of like ancient Japanese stuff, sort of like reflexology, okay, you know, with the foot. So there is something with the fingers, that each finger, including your digits, are related to different emotions. Okay, each finger is connected to a different emotion. And in my book, in the Play the Piano Therapy, which is lesson number 99, I sort of, because in figuring all of this out, what this therapy, okay, so each finger, okay, now according to the Japanese thing, it's the fingers and the digits are connected to different emotions. But in my book, I explain that it is connected to different parts of the brain, which makes sense. So anyway, so I was excited about that, but I haven't gotten to read it yet, to get any more information on that right now. So anyway, right now, like I had said before, that I am in the process of editing, and I will be releasing like an author's edition or an edited edition or something like that, and I am up to number 96. So I don't have much more to go on the editing, and I'm not changing anything really that I have written. The only thing I'm changing is I'm changing I'm correcting my mistakes, my what do you call it, my spelling mistakes, and doing stuff like that. That's what I'm changing. But as far as the content, I have really left that the same. There were a few spots where I had left a word out, or I had to put the word in there. I'm like, oh wait, the word be should be here. So things like that. And so I'm looking forward to finally finishing the editing so that I can make my book more available to more people. But right now, my book is on lulu.com. Okay. So I hope that you... Oh, and I guess I didn't introduce my little friend here. My little friend here. Hi. Say hi. Show some love. 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 Show some love. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, so you have a nice day, okay? And you'll hear from me again soon.